Okay, so I think we are recording. I'm so technology not oriented. It's not even funny. I don't know how I'm doing all these things, but hoping it's recording. And if not,
Well, I see a little red, yeah, I see a little red button that says recording. So
great, perfect.
you
So
are.
that makes makes me happy. So today we are here to discuss the Celtic Cross. I don't know how people are familiar with tarot. If you are a beginner, last session we talked about the 1 card, the 3 card, and the 5 card spread, which are more like a little bit simpler than this one. This one has 10 cards, so it's more complicated, but it does give you a lot more information when you're seeking information about a situation, or even if you want to do a general reading to see what the energies are about for the person or for yourself. This gives you a lot more information than maybe the 3 card reading or the 5 card reading. And we've been working with tarot for a couple of months now. We talked about the major arcana, the minor arcana, the core cards, a little intro. We started with spreads last time, and this time we are getting into more sophisticated spreads. But honestly, I would say like the Celtic Cross, I think, is one of the most popular ones, or at least people teach it all the time. Any class you take about tarot, the Celtic Cross is gonna be there. And I think it's because it gives you that ability to tap into many different areas for the person that's seeking answers, whether it's yourself or you have another person. But definitely, like, you can see a lot more information than in some of the other spreads that we use. But I wouldn't say it's a spread that you can use every day. Like, unless you have time to really delve into the 10 cards, it would be a spread that it will take you 30 to 45 minutes to really like get into explaining every card. So it depends on timing, and it depends on what you're looking for when you're picking spreads. But spreads are your tools in your toolbox when you are doing tarot. So having said that, here is what the Celtic Cross is about. And we can see we have the 10 cards. Like I was saying, it's not 5, it's not 7, it's just 10. And we have, like, I tried to pick a picture that will show you the card position and also the meaning, or at least a very small meaning, so you can see what's going on. So if we were to look at the first one, we are looking at the situation. Some people, when I look at it, when I'm doing my readings, I definitely see it either the situation, or I see how the person is right now, like what is going on with them, what is the general vibration for them. But you could think about, this is the situation, what's bringing them. And then number 2 is the challenge. And again, we all have different variations. I think most readers use this spread, but we may change some of the meanings of the position. So many times I see the number 1 as a person, as a querent, and then number 2 is either opposing or supporting. So depending on the connection between the cards, whether I feel like, you're being blocked, like a challenge, or maybe this is supporting you. You are going through transformation, and here comes, the Tower as a challenge. And yes, again, like, you have to like go through this dismantling your life in order to be able. So it's not really like challenging you, it's really supporting your growth. So it depends on how you want to see it, but this is one of the ways that people do it. And then when we have the third card, we have the basis, it says there. I think it's the key of the question, like, what is the root? What is the, I would say the key of the situation. It will give you the information you need to make sense of the rest of the spread. And then we go to the 4, which is past. In here, they have 5 as present, for me, 5, I usually see it as present or very near future, like in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Like you have those energies coming your way if you haven't been experiencing right now. And then with number 6, you have the near future. So it's a little further away. Again, as I've said in previous sessions, with tarot, you are not predicting, okay, in 5 years, you're going to do this. That doesn't happen with tarot. If you want that type of prediction, you really want to delve into astrology, look at the ephemeris and see what's the currents, you know, with your birth chart, and then you can do some more predictions long term. But with tarot, I would say the maximum that I usually tell my clients is maybe 8 months, 9 months. You could do a year spread, like people that come to a reading for their birthday and they want to see what the year is going to be like. You could do that, like for the next year. But I find that tarot is very flexible. So the moment the person starts making the changes that tarot is suggesting, or that the cards are saying, maybe you go this direction, this happens, you go this direction, that happens, when they make that definition, then cards change. So you could do a new reading when you just decided something. So that is my way of seeing it. So for me, near future would be the next 3 months, or even maybe 6, if you are feeling like the person may take time taking into account the changes that we are presenting in the spread. Then you have number 7 that says your power. And then for me, usually, because I do see number 1 as the current, I see how that sort of like correlates with number 1, and I marry them together. So whatever is happening in number 1, number 7 gives me a little more information about what's happening with this person. And then definitely 8 is the external, or what people are saying about this person, or how the environment is, whether it's a fertile environment or it's a very challenging environment. Maybe people are talking behind the person's back, or people are supporting them. It depends. So you will see in there that type of vibration, that type of energy. And then definitely for number 9, I do see hopes and fears. I don't know if any of you read tarot, but I find it very often that people portray their fears in this position more than the hopes. Somehow, and if it comes as a positive card, usually they fear that. They fear the happy ending. They don't have a belief that they can have it, that they are enough to have it, or that it's even real. They may have some conditioning about feeling like, okay, you know, it's too good to be true. So when is the bad thing coming? So sometimes that creates that energy in that position specifically. It's like either fears or something that is like, it's their dream, but there is a part of them that doesn't believe fully that they can have that dream. So usually it has that vibration. And then number 10 is the final outcome. And we can see it combined with number 6 as future and outcome. Final outcome will be a little further away, but still is connected with that. So you are connecting some of the cards together. So any questions about the meaning of the cards and how the cards are located? No. Okay. If you have any questions, please, again, unmute you. I don't think I muted anyone, so I think you're all muted on your own, but because I couldn't find the button as usual. But definitely, like, if you have questions, let me know. And then we have a practice spread. And I took this one from the internet. There was a picture, because it was too big of a picture for me to build it on my own. So here we have one that they are just using major arcana, which is interesting, but I think it's a very good, you know, teaching tool to have just major arcana. But when people are doing tarot, they mix the whole deck. So when you're mixing, you may get some major arcana and some minor arcana in this spread, because you're picking 10 cards, so there is, you know, a highly likelihood that you will pick some major arcana. Sometimes it doesn't happen. So what I usually tell my clients is, like, when I see major arcana, I definitely see like this is a karmic situation, this is a life learning situation. Maybe there's a little bit more heavy on the changes, heavy on life purpose. When I see minor arcana only, I just see everyday situations, like very mundane, not really. It's not that it's not important, but it doesn't have the level that when major arcana comes up and you're like, okay, you're going through a special time in your life, whether it's positive or challenging. It's just one of those moments when you are taking the next step in your life, and this is part of your soul's plan. So I see it that way. When you're just having minor arcana, it's like everyday situations. They could be hard, but they are not at that level of like big transformation. So if we were to put together the positions that I showed you before with these cards, we can see that number one is the star, okay? And the star talks a lot about shining your light, like being in your purpose, being who you are, being your authentic self, like just really like embracing your soul, embracing your purpose. And it's opposed or challenged by the Empress, which is also a very positive card. So here when we are reading these positions, I would say, for me, if I was doing a reading, I would say, like, you know, the star is shining because you are definitely like embracing your power. Because I wouldn't see the Empress as a challenge. I would see the Empress as it's supporting the star. The moment you really take, you know, your power back and you embrace who you are, you can keep forward and you're shining your light. Okay, so I see it a little bit of like more positively, but we can also tell the story, because what comes after in the key of the question is actually the Hangman. And here is where we need to surrender. When we are stuck, we are feeling stuck about some situation in our lives. So I would say, like, hey, you know what? If you're feeling stuck, you need to look on any areas where you are giving your power away. When you are just really like maybe following somebody else's dream instead of following your own, you are not shining your own star. And this is a time for you to seek your destiny and not to be like conforming to other people. Other people could be their family, their partner, their own like feelings like, well, maybe I should not be doing this because this won't make me any money, or all those situations. We could see multiple situations in these cards. So definitely this person feels stuck, and like I said, maybe it's a feeling stuck between trying to decide which path to take, whether to go for the money or go for the heart purpose. And many times people don't feel like their heart purpose will bring them money. Let's say an artist, for example. Now they may think like, oh, well, I'm not gonna be able to sell my art at a price, so maybe I'll go and I'll be like a secretary, or I'll be in an office. And that's where you're stuck and you're trying to find out, you know, what steps to take next. So that's why the Hangman comes. But one of the lessons of the Hangman is that you have to surrender. So the key to deal with it is not to keep pushing, not to keep forcing things, but just to let it go and surrender. And the moment you surrender, that's when that light comes down and the Hangman is illuminated on the head, because it's just like seeing things with a new way of seeing a new light. So any questions so far? No? Okay. I hear a doggy. The doggy has a question. It's all good. So definitely you want to be able to like start telling the story, and then, oh, it went back. Okay, let's do it again. You see, these things happen because I'm just trying to mute someone. So, okay, let's do it again. And we'll go back. And then we can see the whole spread, so we can see where we are going to. So in the past, we have the lovers. So for me, the lovers, I see this card in two different ways. I see it as you find your soulmate and you connect with the person who's your significant other. But I also see it with following your heart, with really finding that self-love, okay? So the story that this spread is telling me, I feel it's not so much as finding the one as to finding the passion that's in this person's heart because of the star, because of the Empress. Then if we move forward, we can see also the Wheel of Fortune, which I also see as purpose. So definitely, I don't feel like it has to do with that like partnership connection as it has to do with like the person wakes up, and maybe it's a person that has been working, let's say in an office for 10 years, and now all of a sudden wakes up and finds out that, I don't know, she wants to be a counselor or she wants to be a chef, and she cannot figure out how to find out like if she will make, you know, enough money, and she's stuck because she needs to pay bills. So again, there's a hangman, but she has felt that passion in her heart in the past with the lover. So that is motivating her to follow that direction. Even when she's still stuck, she has not made the breakthrough. She has not made the new beginning. And we can see, like they were saying, this is the present with the sun, or it could be the near future. I feel like the more she embraces who she is when she's gonna start shining. And that sun is saying, hey, you have this light, you can be that you wanna be. You can follow that passion, and you have it. You have everything you need. So just, you know, let go. Don't fear so much about money. Don't fear so much about whether you will make it or not. Just go with it. And that keeps also in the further future with the Chariot. And the Chariot is that moving forward, that successful moving forward, like really when you start moving in the right direction for your life. So the story is really telling us that this person, from some fears that they may have and being stuck, still is moving in the right direction. And when we see the power, as I was saying before, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so Wheel of Fortune for me, besides fortune, it's destiny. It's when you spin and it shows you the right direction to go. And that's why I say, if I were to know the person that they did the reading for, I would definitely say like she's in a life, like in a moment in life when she's just like deciding where to go and embracing who she is and letting go of any kind of conditioning. And she just felt what she wanted to be. She has the passion in her heart and she's going forward. And she had that illumination of like, okay, this is where I need to go. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I know where I need to go. So definitely like that is the part that is playing. And the confusion comes from this moon in this position, in the 8th position, where it's like the external, you know, characteristics. And when we look at the external, we have the moon. The moon, I can read it in two different ways. I can read it as you are not seeing clearly, and there's maybe some deceit, some people that are confusing you. You could also see it as, because you don't see clearly, you have to tap into your feelings, into your intuition, and see what your gut tells you, okay? In this position is outside, energies. So I feel like even if this person is like, oh my God, I want to be a chef and I figure it out, this is what I want to do. And all her friends are like, are you crazy? You're a lawyer. Why are you going that direction? How do you think you're going to make it? You know, how will you make money? Or how do you think you're going to be able to move to a different place? Or all the things that the dream she has, the people around create more confusion. And some maybe even deceiving because they may be projecting their feelings into this person's situation instead of really seeing that the person can do it. They will be like, oh my God, instead of saying, if I were you, I couldn't do it, they would be just like, okay, you should not do this. This is too risky. So definitely that moon is there to confuse things a little, although the person is really shining with the sun. When we look at the fears and hopes, we see the temperance. And this is where we can see that the person needs to harmonize some energies in her life. And I don't feel that it's a fear. I feel it's more like a need or a hope that the person needs to include these energies in order to be successful. Sort of like those people that when you find your passion, you can work 24 hours for it. You don't sleep, you don't eat, you don't do anything, you lose all your balance at that point. So temperance brings that feeling of like, hey, remember to keep, you know, some time for yourself, some self-care, some, you know, balancing. Balance is key if you want to be successful, because if not, you may burn out. And I feel like that's what's bringing this card there. And the final card and the outcome is the Fool. And the Fool does talk about a new beginning. It may be a risky new beginning. The person doesn't feel fully confident about it, but they are jumping forward and they are going with the dream. So when we look at the whole spread as a story, we can see the person finding the purpose, feeling stuck, but then finally moving forward into the new dream, into the new experience with this Fool that says, you know, let's turn the page and start a new chapter. And even if there is some energies with the moon and there may be a tendency to overdo things, and that's why the temperance comes there, the ending is pretty good. And we also have the Chariot in the future, or the near future. So definitely like it does have a happy ending. So any questions or anything that you see different? I love when we do these ones in person because people are able to comment how they see the cards or whether I'm totally open to even if you see them differently. I always learn from everyone. So anything? No. Wow. Okay. Any questions or anything that you don't understand?
Not so far, no.
Okay. Okay, that's perfect. Well, that's all I have. So if you don't have any questions, and that makes it for a short meeting. But here it's like what I always put in our presentations. I love Tarot for Yourself by Mary Greer. Like I think that's one of my go books because I feel like she does have a different way of seeing tarot. She sees tarot as I see it, as a tool for self-discovery more than, you know, prediction and fortune telling. And then you have Learning Tarot by Joan Bunning, who is also very good. And it's a very beginner book, but if you are not very familiar with tarot, you may want to check it out. So the next classes that we have is in August, and I think it's already set. I don't know if it's August 30 or August 29, but you can check the board. It's the last week of August, and I think it's on Wednesday or on Thursday. And we will be doing the zodiac spread, which is a spread that talks about the house system that we use in astrology, combining with tarot. So it gives you a lot more information. That's a 13 card spread. So if you are interested, join me next month, and then I'll have love spreads for September, and then October, create your own spread. So I hope you join me again. It's been great to see you. It's been great to have you. Hope you learned something. And like I said, this is going to be recorded, so it'll be in my YouTube, so you can watch it again if you have anything that you want to download. If you want the presentation, let me know and I can send it to you as well. And well, I will see you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
It was
you.
great meeting you.
Okay.